Hi, I'm Warren Sprouse. This is the Bible Forum. We're here every Sunday night from 8 until 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We look at the Bible through a biblical lens. We try to keep you up to speed on the things that are going on, and we try to solve all the world's problems in 2 hours or less. Just this week, in a number of different venues, different news outlets, we learned that the Satanic Temple is promoting an after-school program called the After School Satan Club. And their hope is that they can establish this in public schools all over the country. Doug Messner, who goes by the professional name of Lucien Graves, is co-founder and spokesman for the Satanic Temple, a group of political activists who are seeking to establish these after-school clubs as a counterpart to fundamentalist Christian good news clubs. You've heard of good news clubs, which the Satanists see as the Satanists don't see it, they know what they're doing, but other folks see it as an attempt to infiltrate the public education system, that they might erode not just the faith of some of these young children before they even know what it is, but to erode the constitutional separation of church and state. Now, the Supreme Court has allowed the good news clubs in after a long battle. I don't see any reason why they will keep these folks out. It is Salem, Massachusetts. It's a hot summer night. Leaders of the Satanic Temple have gathered in the crimson-walled living room of a Victorian manse, renowned for its witch trials in the 17th century. They're watching a video in which children dance around a maypole. A spider crawls across the clown's face, and eerie ambient chanting gives way to a backward demonic voiceover, and the assembled group chuckles with approval. These are the folks plotting to bring their wisdom to the nation's public elementary school children. They point out that the Christian evangelical groups already have infiltrated the lives of Americans through this after-school religious outlet, and they are determined now to give these young students a choice, either Jesus or Satan. In their logic, they claim that it's critical for children to understand that there are multiple perspectives on all issues, and that they have a choice in how they think. They plan to introduce their after-school Satan Club at the Prince George County, Maryland, school system. They have petitioned school officials there to allow them to open immediately when the academic year starts, and that's only a few weeks away. Chapter heads from New York, Boston, Utah, Arizona were in Salem on July 10th talking strategy. There were others from Minneapolis, Detroit, San Jose, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Florida, all participating online. The promotional video, which feels like a mashup of horror movie trailers and a Saturday Night Live sketch, served to promote the new club along with its website, afterschoolsatan.com. How appropriate. The Satanic Temple promotes its after-school Satan clubs, their letter says. The Satanic Temple, which has been offering tongue-in-cheek support for the fallen angel in public arenas that have embraced prayer and parochial ceremonies, is now bringing their fight to your household. Claiming constitutional separation of church and state, the nation's schools, that the group is adamant that they are not promoting worship of the devil. The devil is called Satan, and this is a satanic group. According to them, the Satan or the Satanic Temple doesn't espouse a belief in the existence of a supernatural being that other religions identify as Satan or Lucifer or Beelzebub. The temple rejects all forms of supernaturalism and is committed to the view that scientific rationality provides the best measure of reality. According to Messner, who goes by the professional name of Lucien Graves, I told you before, Satan is just a metaphorical construct intended to represent the rejection of all forms of tyranny over the human mind. The curriculum for the proposed after-school clubs emphasizes the development of reasoning and social skills. The group says meetings will provide a healthful snack, literature sessions, creative learning activities, a science lesson, puzzle solving, and an art project. Every child will receive a membership card and must have signed parental permission in order to attend. The argument is the schools have let Good News Clubs in, which are sponsored, obviously, by a religious organization, to push Christianity. The satanic groups and other groups of that nature have been excluded. They now want to rectify all of that. And what they're doing is using a time-honored and proven methodology. They're not worshiping the devil, but rather they are promoting rational thinking. How old are you? Do you remember transcendental meditation in the late 70s, early 80s? That was the term arrived at when Eastern meditation was thrown out of our so-called public schools in the late 1960s. It took a while, but it didn't take very long for it all to come back around under a term, a phrase called mind science. These children are given 15 minutes a day to sit quietly and meditate. They are given a sound to utter. Close out everything else, just sit there cross-legged if you want, and for 15 minutes just try not to think of anything. Repeat this sound, and for that 15 minutes. You know what that does for you? It lowers the tension in your body. It reduces your pulse rate, your respiration. It cleanses the mind. It allows it to relax. It's very positive physically. Transcendental meditation, a mind science for the body. But the reality is, you could sit quietly and stare at a tree and get the same result. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to utter a sound and go into a hypnotic condition. You don't have to lull yourself into this altered state of consciousness. Now, we've talked about altered states of consciousness on the Bible Forum for years. And they are unique in the fact that that you, by your activity, or the lack thereof, but by this somewhat hypnotic methodology, you shut off your conscious mind. And while your conscious mind is dormant, it opens you up to another mind. I know, I can hear you laughing. But you've already seen it work. You've watched on television or maybe in your own living room hypnotists who then give a post-hypnotic suggestion to somebody. Bark like a dog, eat something they hate, I don't know, whatever it might be. How do they do that? Meditation. Nobody can hypnotize you. You do that to yourself. And they encourage you to get comfortable and to breathe and to thing and put everything out of your mind, and they have all of these other things, and they're just lulling you into this place where you kind of shut off your conscious mind. It's like when you go to sleep at night. You're completely unconscious. But there is a point where you rise out of that unconsciousness, but you're not really awake, in between somewhere. And that's where you dream. That's where all of the events of your life that your mind has collected are now thrown at you in this jumbled mess. That's why these things are so weird, stupid, or scary. They don't make sense because they're taking all this stuff. Why are they doing that? Because you're not awake and you don't have control of your mind. Transcendental meditation is that process. And it is couched in this harmless scientific kind of thing. But transcendental meditation is from the Eastern religious community. And you run great risks with this. And here are the Satanists employing that same construct. You want to guess how successful they're going to be?